Hey guys, how's it going? Ghosty Rich here today, and today we're going to be removing the motor out of this 3.8. This will be great for those guys that were wondering how to do that for doing the hemi swap on this, because believe it or not, compare this to a 3.6 engine bay, it's pretty darn close. Of course, the ECU connections are different, and the TIPM, well, this has the dual battery setup, but the TIPM setup always has the TIPM right here, there. Intake's the exact same spot. This one still even has the electric fan, so really it's almost the same darn thing, but what's different is this one's way easier to pull the transmission off of. So let's just get started and start pulling some stuff off, and I'll show you what to do. Go ahead, loosen up just like so, and then slide connector back, squeeze, and pull back. It might be a little bit dirty. Now you could take out this whole thing, there's no need though. Slip this off, and I dropped my bit, that's fine, I'll grab that after. Perfect. And of course there's always that one tricky clip down here. Maybe it's not on this one, let's see. Oh, that's right. Okay, there is a tricky clip down there, so there is a tricky clip down there. So you have to get it with your finger and buckle it up. It flips upward, yeah, just like that. Now, is there one more on this corner? Yeah. So 4, slip, up, out. Then you can take care of that, and that box will just pull right off too. It literally just pulls up and off. Boom. Now we have access to our serpentine. We need that for when we're working over here. Next thing we're gonna do, depending on if you have a dual battery setup or whatnot, you'll have a tie down like so. You might as well disconnect your batteries, because pull the motor, you need it out of the way. So first thing we're going to do is disconnect these batteries and get them out of here. In this case, we're going to take this 10 mil off, and I think it's over there too, and then we can start removing our batteries. And again, also take your pulse off. Ours are a little different because we did the wing nut style. You might have these. Loosen up your clamps, pull them off, and like I said, take off your battery tie down, get your battery out of the way. So right here, you can just come in here, as you see, just lift it up a little bit, and then pull out, what is it, like 8 of them all the way along here. Yeah, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. And then yeah, pull out the plastics as well. After we do that, we'll be able to remove the front grille. Go ahead with all those. All you have to do down here is kind of pull it forward. If you have a winch, be careful, you're going to scratch it up. But yes, next, if you've never done this before, go down here, slide the clip back just like that, slide your red back, compress, and unplug and lift the grill out of the way. So right here, you'll have a clip right here, a clip right here. There's 4 in total. What I like to do is 2 at one side. You compress them in and then lift, come over here, lift, and do the last one over there. For us, this is going to be the fun piece. So there, oh look at that. And then now the last 2. After that, you'll notice this comes up here. You can go ahead and we'll release these. I'll show you that in a second. Oh, right there, slip this on or off. And then this right here is what, got to push this sideways, just like that. And then we should be able to, after you loosen it up enough, we'll turn this. I think we've got it enough. See? There. Get this one out of the way. Perfect. Now, from here, this one, I believe, if I feel around here correctly, there should be a quick release right here. Lifts off. Perfect. Just like that. This is the fuel side. Squeeze these 2 together, slide off, and save this clip. This is one of your fuel clips. And yeah, that's all there is to it for that. Put this off to the side. Get underneath. I would drain your oil now, put a 13 on here, pull the plug, let it go into a tray, and then go ahead and we'll sort out the radiator. We might as well start draining some fluids. The other thing you can do while you're down here is you can take a flat blade and pry this apart on both these. These are holding your transmission line. You can also use a popper and pop them out of the space, and what that'll do is, so it's just not attached to the engine, because when you go to lift this thing out, that's the last thing you want to happen, is for you to forget about that and start yanking on your tranny lines. For here, you just want to kind of lift up on here. Good luck getting it with your fingers. And then all you have to do is lift this up. As you lift, it should come out. Let's see. You can also give it a little assist by pressing on it, just like that. As you lift, connector slips out and does that. You have to do that on all of these. So just do that exact same process. And then here, you have to press these in and then flip the latches out. Same with these. You'll see they have a little sink-in piece. You sink them in and then take your second finger and just lift out like that, and boom, she's free. We'll get this last one here. Again, there are a couple trick pieces where you can just do this. See if it wants to come there, and then just flip it out. Now that those are all out, go put this somewhere extremely safe. This is your TIPM, and it is the main brain. It's like a body control module, but it literally kind of does a bit of everything. If you lose this or it gets destroyed somehow, it's very expensive. Right here, just take a 13, loosen that off, and then yes, like I said, put your TIPM somewhere safe. You need to disconnect this one. Again, push in, go like that, flip out, and then slowly pull on connector as you go. You might have to separate it from the box by pulling it out. Like I said, just do this and pull out as you do that. This clip already slid sideways. Just go ahead, compress, and hold it and put some pressure on it, just like that. See, just clicked up. Now you can separate it. Now both harnesses can separate around our piece of plastic. That is normally a piece of plastic right here. By the way, for the other battery, it's usually the two side clamps, I believe. You just loosen it with either a 10 or 13. It loosens off and you lift the battery out. It's a much easier thing, but they all have this. Take out all three of these 10s, and then when you're looking down, you'll see that support bolt. That sometimes is used on the other box, I believe. Not on this one.
Where the TIPM stock is.
Yeah. And then right here, see those 4 bolts? We're just going to, actually, yes, we're going to loosen that one. And then the rest of the carriage is right here. That one and that one. When you do that, this whole piece of plastic comes right out. You might notice that this won't be here. We are not in the state of California. So when we go ahead and do this, this part of the EVAP will be deleted because we're sick of the codes. And it's as simple as that. It can be programmed quite easily through HP tuners. And then you don't get that code anymore. So, next thing you can do is disconnect this hose, disconnect it from here, and we're just going to go lift up the reservoir and look at Mike's crotch. So when we're over here, this actually just kind of slides up. All right, so the next thing is we're going to loosen this off. You will now notice that your power steering is now just sitting here. Now you can just grab a little bit of a bucket. You're going to pull both hoses off and just dump it out. No matter what, you're going to get a little bit of power steering fluid somewhere, but you might as well, you can try and actually just pour it out by twisting this down like so and out, which does work. Or like I said, just pull these lines off. I'll probably do what I just did and just dump it out and like that. And then that way we can get this out of the way. The other thing you can do is this is for the front grille. We're going to need to remove this so that way we can disconnect the front grille. The only thing, you should only have a couple minor things that are actually attached to your main harness, which is right here. Actually, we should be able to just disconnect that and that can come off with the main grille. Look at that. So, we'll grab our panel popper, give that a quick pull, and then that will be attached to the main. Just like that, twist and pour, as you can see. And yes, it's going to smell like burnt tranny fluid because that's pretty much what power steering is. It starts smelling burnt pretty darn quick. So like I said, just pour out your reservoir, try and just get out as much as you can. Not much comes out. The whole system, because of how close it is, I've noticed takes like maybe a liter, liter and a half, like not much at all. Right here, you're gonna go ahead, squeeze and pull the lower rad hose off. It's gonna make an absolute mess. It's worth it. If you pull the peacock valve out and it strips, well now you can't use your rad. This way, it just makes one mess and the peacock valve is gonna make a mess anyway and be much slower. So pick your poison, just don't get any fluid on a connector. That's why you do this before you do any lower connectors. We pulled the top one off. It's literally the same way you pulled off the bottom one. I'm not gonna show you how to do that. But from there, now you can make a decision. Do you want to take the serpentine off and start to take all the accessories off? You can totally do that. Remove all your accessories. It will lighten the load on your engine. And to tell you the truth, we might end up doing that just because, I mean, it's just easier to remove it. We will decide in a second. The next thing is you know, we did the power steering. I would go ahead and squeeze the hoses or squeeze the hose off the low side and then off the bottom of your reservoir and go ahead and get that out. If you wanted to, the other side of the low side should be somewhere right here, but either way, that's what we'll do. We'll get that one out and we'll take it right off of the power steering so that way it's out of the way and we're making progress. So as you can see, the whole front of everything is off. See these two bolts here? You're gonna have to go from the other side. I think they're 13s. You take it out there, get it out, the other one from underneath over here, take the 13 off there. Take all 4 of these 13s off. The other thing you can do is if you have some penetration fluid, shoot this side of the threads. Why? Because in there the threads are nice and protected, but out here they get nice and rusty. So it's best to put it on here so as you're backing it out, it lubricates the bolt. It'll lower the heat, but also do less damage if it can pull some of that corrosion off. Make your life a little bit easier. Because once we pull these 2 off, from there, we can start to take the last 2 off, fold this over, get the rest of the hoses, and then believe it or not, this whole section removes. After you get those two, like I said, out, and again, you can reach this one just from sticking your hand in from the side here, and then this one I got from right here. Once you get those 2 and you get the 4 off, take a look at this movement. So, what do we have left, do you ask? Well, we just have to now get the rest of the hoses. Like this one is already disconnected, but now we need to go along and be like, okay, what else is there? Now don't worry about this wiring harness. We'll double check to make sure that all that's gonna move just fine. It should, because we've already disconnected it. But the other side now, we have to take off our AC. Make sure that you've taken your vehicle to go get EVAP'd properly, because if you didn't, well, now you get to call a mobile guy. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge to any other backyard guys that want to do it their way, which I won't mention in this video. But either way, yes, get a professional to drain your AC system. From there, we're going to take off those 2 13 mils and remove our AC from the front. And then we just have to remove, if there's tranny lines, which there is right down there, we'll have to remove the tranny lines. Once we do that, whole front grille slides right off. Go ahead, loosen the 10 mil. We'll be able to wiggle this free, and you'll have to go in through your wheel well, and you'll see that it's sitting right here. Just go ahead and pull these out. I'm not going to bother explaining too much with this aftermarket transmission cooler, but basically what it allows you to do too is you can leave one half attached and the other half will be on the other side of the line, so we'll have to disconnect that, or you could simply just disconnect these 2 hoses. I'll leave it up to you. But either way, I digress. Go ahead and just loosen that one, and then all our lines should be off, everything that has fluid in it off the front, meaning we can start to slip this off and out. With this style bumper, we've decided we're gonna go ahead and remove it. You do not need to for regulars like that one over there. I left that bumper on, but this one, because the stinger is so high, we've decided to go ahead and just remove the bumper. If you put on a stinger bumper, you'll know how to remove it. It's literally just like 6 bolts here, and then not even, I think it's maybe 8 bolts. It's 2, 2, and then 2, 2, and then it lifts off. You'll have to disconnect your winch. So this one's right here, it'll be in there. Just squeeze the ducktail, slide it off. You'll have another one right here. We'll squeeze it and slide it up. And then this one, you can even leave the pin attached. Just compress, actually, sorry, no, you cannot leave the pin attached. It's compress right here and pull down. Yeah, you can see that little tab right there. See right here? So we should be able to compress both sides and then pull down and it'll disconnect the pin. Ground, just like that. Go ahead, loosen your ground up on this side because this grounds out the whole grill. After that, you'll have 2 more connectors just like you did down there. Compress and pull out on both these and you should be free. You can lift it out and take it away. Loosen the one in the center of the 2 lines and then wiggle it and it'll just wiggle right out of it. We might firewall. These are your heater core hoses. You might as well quickly disconnect your heater core hoses, put them off to the side, loosen off your power steering line and put it off to the side off of the pump. And yeah, let's go ahead and just clean this up a little bit. This one is the only different clip. Fold out, move off. Down here, compress, move. This one, once again, our favorite kind of clip. Not. You have to, again, take off the safety there, like that. Then it's compressed, pull off. We'll go ahead, we'll grab our, I think it's a 13, take it off the alternator. And then just put this off to the side so I can't drop this bolt. Pretty easy. Take this, pull alternator off like so, and don't lose the bolt, so we tighten it on. Next, come over here in our big storm of wires, or hoses. Don't drop, don't drop. Perfect. Grab it with your fingers. Try not to drop. Do the next. And again, pull that one off. Try not to drop. I suggest replacing all AC O-rings. And also don't get them from the dealership. Get them from like Napa. But yeah, move it around till they come out. The O-rings, 99% chance if you have a vehicle this old. Yeah. And then, again, there's one last one at the back there where you can just simply, we'll see if I can get it with this. If not, yeah, I'll need a bigger extension. Take a massive extension and release the 13 there, and you can pull this right off the firewall. All you got to do is bend the pulley down, take it off of the power steering, but note the orientation for when you go to put it back on. So take the belt off, and when you go to put it back on, well, now you know the way the belt is configured to go back on. Go ahead, 16. We're just going to remove some accessories to make our life easier. Note the orientation. Big bolt bottom, small bolt top. Now, if it doesn't want to come out easy, because you don't want to bend your dipstick, grab yourself a reinforcement stick. Get your reinforcement stick, and all you got to do is kind of keep pressure on it, and it comes up and off like that. So, remove the alternator. Line up power steering pulley like so. These are 13s. Whoop, done there. And right here. There you go. This is going to be in there tight, so we might have to just wiggle this sort of free and then pry on the hose a little bit. Leave that one loose but already done in. If you have a bendy ratchet, this part's easier. There you go. Pull out the bottom bolt first, obviously. That way you don't have all the pressure of the top bolt trying to drop the AC unit on your hands. Doing this is going to allow you for better visual of everything around the motor. Don't forget the one on the back of the AC compressor too. You just come through here. See if we can, yep, just like that. Then after you do that, it should be loose enough for you to just take the top bolt out. See how he's throwing a whole bunch of penetration fluid on all the manifold bolts? You should definitely do this. Let it soak, shoot it again. Do it 3 or 4 times because manifold bolts are known to break off. Now the good news is if you're doing an engine swap, well, you're gonna have new heads on it unless you buy a short block. Long block's gonna have new heads. So even if you bust them off, it's the next guy's problem. So I'll leave that up to you. For right now, he'll do that and then he'll do this side. That way we can get it. Look how easy it is now to get at the engine mounts. One thing I love about these engine mounts, you just crack them loose and literally it slides out of these holders in here. Makes it nice and easy so you don't actually have to remove the bolt all the way through. You just crack them loose and it lifts up and out. This is a good time to also inspect your engine mounts. So as you can see here, we've got these harnesses too. You might as well get these ones loosened off. You want to compress and flip down, and then you can kind of create even pressure, but you need to do that with both of them again, just like you're used to. I would highly suggest too, when we get some compressed air over here, blow these connectors out just because you're going to see lots of dust. Just make sure that your compressor has a water separator so it doesn't blast it full of moisture and corrode your connectors. Right here, if you take a look, there's that flange that goes up into here. All I did is I went underneath with a very long extension on the drill and took out the two 15s here. This side, because the speed clips that hold these, they break 99% of the time, so expect to replace those. They broke on this one, so I'm gonna have to move the heat shield so I can access it. But that's just this piece and then these two bolts right here. Or at least, we'll see, maybe we'll bend it out of the way. We'll figure something out. Even if I have to throw something on it just to hold it, and then that'll take both those manifolds off. You could technically leave the manifolds on the engine and use them as a strapping point when we pull it out. If you don't want to, you can go ahead, actually take the manifolds out right now. You just have to get around it like that. It's a little bit fun. All you had to do though is take out the top bolt and bend the heat shield down towards the engine mount. So when you go ahead and get under the vehicle, I'll show you where this inspection cover is. We took it off earlier because we needed to inspect the flywheel. So I will show you that. But again, you're just gonna take out these 4 bolts, and there's 3 that aim up. This right here allows you to inspect and also take out the torque converter bolts, which we're gonna do next. So for that, what you do is you take off that cover. We come over here, and you're gonna have one person turning the crank, and then one person loosening up the torque converter bolts. This is very important. All you're going to do the first spin around is crack all the torque converter bolts loose, meaning don't pull them out. Don't try and leave them out a whole bunch of threads because they'll bind up. What you want to do is simply crack them loose, go around, and then we'll pull them out. As you can see, there is our torque converter bolts. That's where that inspection cover came off of. Again, the center one, which you see right there, is a longer bolt. Remember that when putting it back together. But you see those torque converter bolts? Like I said, first pass is just to loosen them. So what you're gonna do is simply loosen and then turn, loosen, then turn, loosen, then turn, then loosen, and then on the second pass, just pull them out. All our torque converter bolts are out. Like I said, crack the 4 loose, and then after that, the second pass, pull them all the way out. After you've done so, then now the torque converter is separate from the engine. Loosen this 10 mil, loosen that 10 mil, drop the strap, bring it through here, just to make sure, because this is connected to the motor. You could take it off the manifold side if you so wish, or take it off this side, doesn't matter. Once we've done that, that just comes here. And there we go. That's there. The other thing that we'll probably do next is remove the starter. But again, that's the EGR stuff, so we don't have to worry about that. The only reason why we might have to worry about that is, which I bet you it is, it's actually connected to one of the bell housing bolts, which is right here. So chances are we have to actually remove this solenoid right here to get access to the bell housing bolts. So, bell housing bolts time. When you come around, reach right behind this valve cover and down. Feel the transmission. If you reach on an angle from this valve cover, you will feel the first or one of the bell housing bolts. I always suggest try to get the top ones out first, because if you get the top ones out first, then you release the bottom ones last. It'll be so much easier on your body, I'm telling you now. So like I said, it's kind of like diagonal or just under the valve cover. If you feel down, you'll feel the transmission, then feel right to the engine and you'll feel one of the bell housing bolts. There's no way for me to give you a shot until after I pull the motor out where I can point at them, because there's no way you're getting a camera back there.
So, like I said, right below that valve cover, all you do is you put an 18 on the ratchet and you can get it. It's a little fun. You have to have a swivel head ratchet. If you don't have one, go buy one. It'll make your life so much easier.
Next is the starter. There should be, what, 2 bolts on that thing?
2 bolts on the back here.
Yep.
They're 16 mil.
Perfect. The other thing you got to do is see that stem right there, where you'll see that there's the bolt off of it right now. You have to loosen that to take the power wire off of there, and there'll also be a sensor wire. Make sure you disconnect the sensor wire off the starter. And again, there's a little wire and the big wire. The little wire tells the starter to spin. Big wire is the one that actually feeds it power. So make sure you take those two off before you take the two starter bolts out, and then the starter will come towards you. Be very careful it does not hit you in the face. Next thing we're going to do is take these out, the two, I guess they're 10s. I'll take a look, they might even be 8s. Take the two off the top here and take the two off the EGR system here, so that way we can get at the bolt that's right here and one up here. We want to remove this so that way we can reach all the way around the motor. That's just one less part to be broken off during removal. All right, so we've already got the two bolts out up here. These were 8s. And then believe it or not, there's an 8 here, and for some reason there is a 10 on the back of that pipe. I don't know why, couldn't tell you, but if yours has 8, count yourself lucky. It means you have all 8s everywhere. But for me, I have a 10. So like I said, we'll just remove this pipe out of the way. So right here, you're just gonna go here, take that 13 off, and then what we'll be able to do is lift this guy up and off, and then this EGR piece is held on by a 13 that's underneath it. So pull out the prop again and pop out that last 13 bolt holding on the EGR pipe. So you want to get equal pressure on here, and you want to try and pop this forward like this and then down. There, just like that. Do the same to the other side. Again, this is the fun part of their fuel clips on this system. You can use a pair of needle nose too, and kind of to hold both sides, as one would say. Come on. And then, like I said, then you just come here and then push them down. That's the fun part. You have to kind of lift it up, push it down, and the clip goes out. There we go. Come on now. There we go. That side's out. And time for the last side. There we go, that one's out. There we go. Perfect, just like that. Like I said, it's a little bit troublesome. This clip is broken. Oh well, it's a fuel clip. To be expected. Alright, after that, pop it off. And there you go. Now you can move this fuel out of the way to get the last bolt for your EGR. Here, just pop. You just push it like that. Once you do that, you can now flex back a clip and pull back like that. I might even have to use my tool to separate it. Let's see. There, just like that. Okay, that is now free. Now, all we have to do is configure these two and now loosen the two bolts on here. Now these feel like they might be 10s. I'll tell you what they are. Rather 10s or 13s. But it's one here and one a little higher up, and then this solenoid is out of the way. I put my hand up over the top, around the back side with a 10mm box wrench. Use the hand on this side to hold the solenoid and loosen it off. But yeah, you can reach now from right here and slowly loosen it. I flipped my ratcheting box wrench around once. I could actually get it there because, believe it or not, the stupid design of the EGR valve blocks it from getting a box wrench completely on it or a socket. So yeah, I don't like that. So that's gone, and the best part is now we reach around and reach all the way around all the other valve housing areas. So now we can get those remaining bolts. Perfect. If you follow your wiring harness, you'll find a 13mm on the back of the motor. It's not 100% essential to remove this, but I will say
It gives you more mobility with this wiring harness to move it around to where you'd like it, and I suggest removing it just so, yeah, it's off the back of the motor and allows for more flexing. And that's it. And again, it's just a 13.
So when you guys get the starter out, what you're gonna do is there's a bolt that's facing the opposite way just above it. You have to bend this shield up that's protecting the bolt for some reason, and then you'll be able to get it. It's right here, and this is that little shield. That shield probably will not be going back on because I think that's the dumbest thing ever. But yeah, it used to be attached to one of your O2 sensors. But you can use zap straps and do the same effect. It's just manufacturer. So now that we got that, we'll get the last one out on the other side, which will be fun because of the tranny dipstick. So if you follow the transmission dipstick all the way down, if you feel around it, you will see just where it meets the transmission, you should feel a 10 mil. You want to go ahead and loosen it, and then you're going to pull your tranny dipstick out of the way so you can get the last bell housing bolt, and it'll save the tranny dipstick.
Right, you'll see Mike's got one more he's unscrewing from up there. So there's one at the bottom that's connected to the tranny pan, and then there's one that's on the back of the motor, and again, they're both 10 mils.
All you do is, you're going to have some crusty, dirt-covered connectors. You have one there, you're going to have one on
Your throttle right here. These ones are always fun.
Let's see if I can get it.
And compress here. Let's see, is it a double ender?
Once you get both those little clips there, it just comes out. You can start to chase it.
Follow this one, comes down to here. See if there's a safety on it. Yep, there's a safety on it. So press the safety up, press the ducktail in.
And like I said, just slowly disconnect this. It goes under the intake manifold here, so we'll have to disconnect it from there too.
All right, make it easy. Take the top end
Off the intake. We're gonna have to squeeze this. Funny that they have a sandwich intake on here. And now the two in the back though, probably, yeah, two in the back, either swivel or with ratchet. So just pull the last two off. We'll squeeze this clip, take it up and off, and we can get this pipe out of the way. So carefully take this up and off. Oh, I put this back on for when I was pulling the pipe on. Off. Off, Richard. Okay. Go. This just lifts straight up and off now and over there. If you take a look here, you'll see all your injector harnesses. So these can either be really easy or really hard. This one's going to be really hard. See, it just comes up like that. It'll either be really easy or really hard. Compress and lift up. These are your injector harnesses. So this just up like this again. And up here. And up here. Done. Ooh, there's your injector harness.
So from here, these are all just ones off the back of the motor now. We just want to make sure everything is off the back of the motor before we move it. So there,
Right here, 18, hit it until it keeps going until there's only 5 or 6 threads left on both sides. Once you've gone ahead and done that, guess what? The engine is now free. We've already disconnected all the harnesses. It's time to lift the motor. So, now that we're ready to lift the motor, it's time for safety. You're gonna need an engine crane like so. We're gonna be slipping this in. take it up. Now, what we can do, and this is what I'm probably going to do, it's as simple as this. Under here and right here, that's about where I need it. I'll put my balancer on. You can actually either you can find a couple points like right here. We can mount the engine balancer to right here, and there'll be another one on the other head on the other side, or there should be. We'll use 2 of our bolts, and we can just lift it from right here and then from back here, right here, if you want to thread a bolt in. If you don't want, and again, I'll feel for that. Yes, there is one here. So you could lift it by 2 points from right there. If you don't want to do that, and you're like, you know what? I just want to get this thing out another easy way. You can put a strap or a chain right through here, unplug your spark plugs, just make sure you remember which boot's which, and you would come up off here. We would take this off, our big coil, our massive coil right here. You would take this off, and you would basically lift it from right there. This side is driver's side, this side is passenger side. Just remember that for yourself. Pop, pull. That is cylinder number 1, which is utmost first cylinder. This one is cylinder number 2. So second one goes to second cylinder, third one goes to this one. Pop it off. Now we'll see the opposite side. Opposite side, top one goes to back cylinder. So this one goes to the back cylinder. This one goes to the front cylinder. And this one goes to the middle cylinder. So just remember that when you put it back together. A little more. Okay, 1 sec. Check the body mounts. This one's free. How's that side?
Free.
All right. Now what we need to do is we need to lower actually a little bit maybe. Actually from here, what we're gonna do is set a jack stand underneath the transmission to hold the transmission, because when we slide this away, what's gonna happen is the transmission's gonna drop. The motor is gonna tilt back, and we need to make sure the transmission doesn't fall very far. That's the best way to put it. You basically want to pull this forward and the transmission just to bed itself onto a jack stand. So now that we've got that mount free, this mount free, we now need to look for any cables or anything that are holding up our engine, and then, like I said, slide it off of the transmission as carefully as possible. We do have it on a trans mount, but we just don't want it to completely drop out on us. Right here, grab, free it. You can see it's free. We are all engine now. So now we go up, and then we pull forward, just like that. Now, yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of coolant pour out. That's expected. And now we do this, jack up. We pull forward, and we jack up. No problem. See, this is why you have to have multiple eyes on the project all at the same time. And yeah, it looks like we're doing good.
Clear.
Oh, there's that one plug. Further up. Yep. No, the one below, the black one.
Oh yeah, those are all just the
Right there.
open.
That one was caught.
Okay, perfect. Oh, now rotate it over here. There we go. Hey boys, we caught an engine. It's out. And we're just jacking it up so it gets past here. And once we get it out of the chassis, we'll go. And that is how you remove a 3.8. Be careful when you go ahead and put it down, and get ready to shove your new one in. That's it, or hemi swap it. Other than that, I don't think I'm going to do much on throwing one back in, because it's the same video just in reverse. You can get torque specs very easily online. You literally just type in 3.8 JK engine torque specs, and you should be able to get all the torque specs for the front. You'll notice that usually the side and all the accessories, like this is usually like an 18, and then this one right here is usually like your alternator is usually like 45, and then your engine mounts are going to be like 80. But I'm just giving you some generalized ones. Again, good luck with the bell housing bolts. I never get those to torque spec. Maybe the bottom two, the main two support ones. But again, you can get them all online. So there's no point in me rattling them off. just type them in on Google. Anyways, thanks again for watching. Press like if it helped you out and subscribe for more.